Hi, my name's Maria and this is my channel MH Books, and it's Monday evening after work. The light is starting to fall, but we have enough to film. Well, I think we have enough to film. Today I'm going to film the tag, and now I have to keep looking at the name of this tag because I keep getting it wrong. Your Readership Tag. It originated on Stripped Cover Lit's channel. I have seen it there. That was the second time I've seen it, but the first time I seen it was on Amy's From the Dusty Bookshelf. And then I've seen it today. I think it was Todd the Librarian today, was doing it today. So I've seen it a few times. I actually like the questions on this. I do understand now that I have been tagged in other tags which I haven't filmed yet. But I'm doing this tag first, even though I haven't been tagged yet, because that's Maria logic, and because I like the questions. And before I go into my questions, just to say there won't be a Friday Reads this week because I will be in Wexford at work, so I won't be in Dublin to film. So there will be some type of catch up during the weekend about my week's reading, just in case anybody's desperate, because I just know people are just desperate to know what I read during the week. Or actually, I wouldn't be the same if I didn't read the Friday read. I didn't see the Friday reads from people like the big-haired bookworm. Oh my goodness, what's her name? I'm gonna put her name underneath. I'm blanking. Louise. She has a story about laundry every Friday. I now get obsessed with her laundry stories. So yeah, I actually wouldn't be a Friday night without a laundry story from Louise the Big Head Bookworm. Okay, let's get on with the tag. Okay, so the first question is, who influenced your beginning as a reader? So I would have the same answer to most people would have, and that would be my mother used to sit down and read books to me when I was going to sleep. My dad wouldn't have done anything like that. He wasn't really a reader. Well, he isn't really a reader. He doesn't really read now either. But I just thought, while I have this question and this opportunity, I thought like I would just expand upon this question. Who made me a book collector? That would be my grandmother, which would be my father's mother, who saw me complaining that I had no more books to read, and she said, why not read the books you already own? And I've already read them. And she said, reread them, wait for about 6 weeks to 2 months and reread them. So I now obsessively collect books so I can reread them, even though I have more books than I can possibly read. So that would be my Nana Hill's fault. Just thought I'd expand on that bit. What is the first book you remember? I can't remember the first book I remember. I do remember golden books because I was brought up in Australia, so golden books would have been in Ireland and Britain. People would have been reading ladybird books. I don't know what they would be reading in the US and Canada, but in Australia kids read golden books and they had golden spines, and that's about all I remember. I don't remember a specific book. I do remember I did have a story about this family who went to the outback on a picnic, and the kids get lost and they have to see the side of the tree that the moss grows on and follow a stream in order to find civilization again. But I don't remember the name of that book. But I do remember that bit because it's a very Australian book too. Question 3. What is the first book that impacted you? I will put the links to everybody's channel below and the questions, by the way. So first book that impacted me. Now that's a tough question. I don't really know. I mean, I know I obsessively read some of the classics, and I loved what Katie did and Little Women. So in Katie did, it was Katie. Little Women, it was Joe, and I really empathised with those characters and reread these stories again and again and again and again. Also Heidi as a kid. As an adult, I would have read Lord of the Rings again and again and again and again, and I suppose that had a huge impact in that I kept reading it. I haven't read it in probably about 15, maybe 20 years. definitely I hadn't read it for about 10 years, I'd say, when the films came out, so it's probably 20 years since I've read it. So I can't think of anything else that impacted me. I'm so going to think of something afterwards. What author was your first love? Let's see. As a kid, it would have been Enid Blyton and Ian Nesbitt. Enid Blyton, anything but Secret Seven. I hated Secret Seven, but loved everything else. So all the Mallory Towers, I particularly liked the one that had the character called Fatty in, which were adventure stories. And they solved the mystery. So Fatty was kind of like a Sherlock Holmes. And impact book. See? An impact book that really did impact me was actually an Enid Blyton book. It would have been, I think it was Five Go on a Hike. Up until the time I was 7, I was put in remedial classes because they said I would never learn to read and write. And when I was 7, I had a deaf teacher who kind of worked out I could already read and write, I just couldn't sound out. I'd been sick for the first year of school and I missed how to sound out, but I just taught myself to read. So I was always told I was bad at reading and I couldn't read. And when I was 8, and I was probably 8 and 4 weeks, it was a couple of weeks since after we came back to Ireland, I was flicking through that book in the supermarket and I realised, as far as I was concerned, it was a big person's book and I could read that. So that had a big impact. I realised I could read, and it probably meant I read ferociously afterwards. So yeah, that's the book that had the biggest impact. So going back to other books that I loved, Ian Nesbitt, anything but The Railroad Children. Didn't like The Railroad Children. I liked her magical books. So Five Children, It and Phoenix and the Carpet, absolutely adored those. Read them again and again and again. Reread them about 2-3 years ago. They're terribly sexist and terribly classist, but they're amazing stories. So first loves. Okay, so which book has been on your TBR for far too long? I don't remember, but one of the books that I'm supposed to be reading out was picked by Siri. Is Frankenstein. And Frankenstein is something I've been meaning to read since my sister would have been in college, because she was reading it. She did English literature for the first year of her degree. So when would she have been in college? 1993. So since 1993 I should have been reading Frankenstein. What is the one book that has been on TV too long? That's not question number 5. Go-to suggestion for a new reader. Now, if somebody doesn't read at the moment, I think it's best to see what they look at on Netflix or on TV, because that's the kind of genres that they like, and then pick from there. So it's a difficult question. Because it depends. Well, obviously it depends on what people like, you know. So, and then you go to somebody who writes nice, good, probably a good narrative and a good story. So probably veer away from literary fiction at first for most people. I can't think of something, a TV program somebody would like. But if somebody did like something like the actual movie of The Green Mile, this book is actually. When the movie is very true to the book. So a lot, you know, sometimes actually if you find maybe the program that they like was originally a book. So that's a suggestion anyway. What are you currently reading? I'm reading quite a few things at the same time, but to keep this short, I'm reading these pages. I'm doing a buddy read with Charlie. I'll link her channel, Charlie Brooke. I'll link her channel down below. I'm on the third 50 pages here to be read tonight, so that's the quickest answer to that question. But I'm reading quite a few things. I'm also loving Freshwater from the Women's Prize at the moment as well, on audio, read by the author. They are very good at reading their own novel. not every author is. So oh, and who do you tag? I'm not going to be cheeky enough to tag somebody when I'm behind the tags that I've been tagged on. But if you would like to do this, I'm really interested in what most people, and actually what I would really like is maybe the answers to some of these questions, because I know some people just watch and don't actually film, and I'm just interested in some of these. You know, have you got some similar answers or completely different answers to yourself? So even if you don't film, or you don't feel like filming this tag, if you want to put your comments down below, that would be great, because I just find this one is just the nice simple questions, and it's really interesting. So yeah, so that's the end of the tag. I hope whatever you're reading that you're enjoying it. If you would like to comment and subscribe, please do. But meanwhile, I want you to all just have fun. Bye bye. See ya.